Regulation of acid-base balance. How the kidney regulates acid-base balance and what is its role? What do you think? What is the role? What makes the kidney to regulate acid-base balance?
Formation of ammonia, which will balance.
Okay. Ammonia and any other thing? So before I begin the lecture, I would like to know, do you know what is mean by acid? What is an acid? And what is mean by base? Alkali or base? So in this lecture, we will be talking about or discussing about the normal range of the pH values. What is mean by pH? And what is its upper value, upper limit and lower limit, which is compatible with life? Is it a very important thing or it's not so important thing? What do you think? pH is important to regulate or no need?
Of course, important.
Important. So what is the normal pH? Normal pH of the blood or body.
7.4.
Good. 7.4 is the normal pH of the body. Can anyone define what is mean by pH or what is this 7.4 means? What will happen if it becomes 7.5? What will become if it is become 7.3? Does it have a strict range or it is fixed? Then we will see. Actually, we are seeing in today's lecture about the role of kidney in regulation of acid-base balance. So this is important topic because in our body, as you said, the pH is important to regulate. So how the kidney helps to regulate this pH? We will see it in this today's lecture. In that, we will see how what is the mechanism of reabsorption of bicarbonate and secretion of hydrogen ions by the nephron. We have seen the nephron is responsible for three things in the formation of urine. We have seen since the lecture number one. One is filtration, that is glomerular filtration, followed by reabsorption, followed by secretion. These are the three processes are taking place in the nephron, or you can say in the kidney, to make the final urine. Final urine will be formed after these three processes, number one, number two, and number three. So some of the ions or materials are filtered, some are not filtered. Then out of that filtrate, the some which are required by the body, like glucose, water, sodium chloride, and many other things, which is required for the body, they will be reabsorbed. And some are which is not required and they are not properly filtered, so they will be added to the filtrate. It is called as a secretion. So three processes are taking place to lead to the final formation of the urine. In that, hydrogen is one of the thing. Hydrogen is one of the ion. Bicarbonate is also one of the ion. So these two ions are also important for chemicals. These are important for regulation of the acid-base balance. And we will see what is the net acid secretion by the kidneys, in which there will be treatable acids, and what is its important and what is the importance of buffer system in the urinary tract or buffer system in the nephron. Okay, and also the ammonium, secretion of ammonium. So these are our objectives for today's lecture. So as I asked you question in the beginning, acid means any substance which can dissociate to give free hydrogen ion. Any chemical after some reaction, if it gives out any hydrogen ion, we label it as we label it as acid. We label it as acid. So a substance containing hydrogen group and then dissociate in the solution to give free hydrogen ions, we call it as acids. One of the example is carbonic acid. Carbonic acid H2CO3 will become H ion dissociation plus HCO3 bicarbonate ion. So that's why this free hydrogen ion is coming out from this chemical. So that's why it is known as an acid. It is not very strong acid, but it is an acid present in our body. Similarly, what is the definition of a base? What are basic substance or what are bases? That substance that can combine this hydrogen ions if it is freely available, if it can engage this hydrogen ions or remove it from the solution, it is known as the base. So you can see here bicarbonate is an example. HCO3 can combine with hydrogen ion to give you H2CO3, right? So here HCO3 minus, this is this is the base because it is accepting the hydrogen ions. OK. So definition of acid is the one which gives hydrogen ion. Base is a substance which accept the hydrogen ion. Then what is the meaning of pH? Can anyone tell me what is the meaning of pH? No idea? You are talking about pH in so many lectures from in previous blocks also and this block also, that this is the normal pH. But can you define pH? pH is like hydrogen ion, which is produced in the body. It will have very normal range is very little amount. It has to be controlled in a not in grams or milligrams or liters or milliliters. It will be nanomilli equivalent, very small unit. So amount of hydrogen present in our body is normal range is very small unit, nanomilli equivalent per liter. That unit, if you say 1000 nanomilli, so it is not proper. It is a very small quantity. That's why it is expressed in a logarithmic term, in a log. So it is a negative log of what is hydrogen ion concentration. Sorry, negative log of hydrogen ion concentration is known as pH. So pH is nothing but the negative log of hydrogen ion concentration. Why we take log value? Because it's very small quantity, minute quantity, nano. Nano is 10 raised to minus 9. OK, so any solution which is having a pH of 7, we say it is a neutral solution. Neutral means it's neither acid nor base. Any solution which is having less than 7 pH, it is known as an acid. Any solution which is having greater than 7 pH is known as a base. So OK, this diagram shows you the range of pH. So pH is ranging between 0 to 14. pH is ranging between 0 to 14. And we say normal is neutral solution is at 7. And the human body cannot survive if the pH is less than 6.4 or if it becomes more than 8. So it is a very narrow range. 7 is in between. So it is a normal range of the body fluid or body is between 6.8 to 8. In that case, all the cells will be performing normal function. Anything below, cell will die. Anything above, again, cell will not function or die. So this is the range. The range of pH of the body fluid or blood is ranging between 6.8 to 8. This is not range. This is the limit, maximum limit. Yani. Range is very little, 7.35 to 7.45 only. Normal range is between 7.35 to 7.45. What this range 6.8 and 8 means, It is the maximum limit where still there is a disease, but the person will survive. But after that, if it is becoming 6.8 or less than 6.8, the person will die here. Death already written here. And if it becomes more than 8, the person will die. But if it is slightly here, there may be disease. Here, there may be disease. We call it as acidosis and alkalosis. But after 6.8, no acidosis, no alkalosis. It will be person will be die, will not be no more. Okay. So arterial blood pH less than 6.8 or greater than 8 is not compatible. Is not compatible with life. So life is not possible if the pH is less than 6.8 or more than 8. But we can say that acidosis is when the pH is between less than, you can say maximum is or below the 7.35. If it is below 7.35, less than 7.35, we call it as acidosis. Acidosis. If it becomes more than 7.45, we say alkalosis. Okay. So this is the basic information about the acidosis and alkalosis. Why we have to regulate the pH? Three things. If we don't regulate the pH, there will be change in the excitability of the nerve and the muscle. Nerve and muscle. Everywhere in our body, we have got either nerve or muscle. So they will have either hyperexcitability or you can say flaccidity, or they will not function. So nerve and muscle function will be lost. It may be cardiac muscle, it may be skeletal muscle, it may be smooth muscle, and any type of neuron. They will not function if the pH is disturbed. If the pH is disturbed. Also, the enzymes are active only when the pH is normal. They will be becoming inactive if the pH is going away from the normal range, less than 7.35 or more than 7.45, the enzymes will be functioning abnormally or not function. It also, the hydrogen level or pH is nothing but if there is a change in the pH, there will be change in the potassium level. If the pH is not regulated, then potassium level will be disturbed, and you know the disturbance at the potassium level, either increase or decrease. Both are not compatible for nerve and muscle. Level of potassium, similarly level of hydrogen also. So that's why regulation of pH or balance of the pH or acid base balance is a must in the body. Okay. Regulation of pH is meaning that regulation of hydrogen ion concentration. Meaning hydrogen ion concentration has to be regulated. But from where the hydrogen ions comes in our body? From where hydrogen ions are produced in our body? Any idea? We are breathing. Every time we are breathing, from birth till death, we are breathing. We are having O2 going in, CO2 is coming out. So CO2 is present in our body. Whenever CO2 combines with hydrogen, water, it will give you carbonic acid, H2CO3, which will dissociate with the help of enzyme carbonic anhydrase, present abundantly in our body, carbonic anhydrase, to give it into hydrogen ion and bicarbonate ion. So this is the abundance of hydrogen ions are produced because of the presence of CO2. We have got CO2 coming every time. Whenever there is a metabolism, CO2 is released. So during inspiration, expiration, there is a level change in the level of CO2 leading to formation of hydrogen. So it is coming from hydrogen. Now it is coming from CO2. That's why it is called as a volatile acid. Volatile acid. There can be non-volatile acid or fixed acids, like in during our muscle metabolism, the muscles produces lactic acid. This is also an acid. It will also have hydrogen ions. Similarly, inorganic acids are produced because of the breakdown of the nutrients, like sulfuric acid H2SO4 or phosphoric acid HPO4. Okay, so how the body regulates or engage these free hydrogen ions? These free hydrogen ions are present everywhere in our body. So how the body will be engaging these free hydrogen ions, because they may cause changes in the excitability of the neuron. They will cause changes in the uh, pH and change in the activity of the nerve in the muscle, and also the change in the potassium ion concentration. So how you can arrest them? How we can arrest? We can arrest them by three ways. One is by combining them with buffers. These are the chemical compounds which can react with hydrogen to make them arrested. They will not be allowed to work independently or freely. So combined with chemical buffers. This is first mechanism. As soon as they are formed in the body, in during metabolism, during respiration, anywhere, they will be arrested by combination with the buffers or chemicals. These are called as the buffers. Or second line of defense is respiratory system. Respiratory mechanism is there because as we have seen in the previous slide that they are combining, they are forming from CO2 to give H2CO3, which will be dissociated into H ions, free hydrogen ions plus bicarbonate ion, HCO3. So if you reduce this or decrease the CO2, this whole thing will be reduced or hydrogen ions will be reduced. So respiratory system will, throw CO2 more outside so that less hydrogen will be produced. This is the mechanism by respiratory system. What is renal mechanism? Renal mechanism, we have seen there are process, filtration, reabsorption and secretion, and ultimately formation of a urine. So hydrogen ions can be thrown out of the body through the kidneys. So they will not be reabsorbed here. They will be in the filtrate and they will be coming out. So hydrogen will be thrown out by the body through the urine. This is renal mechanism, but it takes little bit more time, hours or the days. Respiratory system will be changing its activity within minutes, whereas within seconds, the chemical buffers will be acting. So they are the fastest one is the chemical buffer. After that, the respiratory system change will occur to regulate the hydrogen ion concentration. And in some hours or days, urinary system will become active or renal system will become active to regulate the hydrogen ion concentration. This is a slide showing you what are the different types of chemical buffer. Okay, by the way, buffer does not mean only one chemical. It is a combination of. Buffer is a combination of what? It contains weak acid plus a weak base. Together it is known as a buffer. So that's why it is written here, carbonic acid bicarbonate buffer system. Carbonic acid is an acid, weak acid. Bicarbonate is a weak base. So these two combined together is known as carbonic acid bicarbonate buffer system. And it is a primary buffer system present in the extracellular fluid against non-carbonic acid changes. Non-carbonic acid changes can be neutralized by carbonic acid bicarbonate buffer system. Protein can also act as a buffer. Proteins, where they are found mainly, the concentration of protein is where more, ECF or ICF, extracellular or intracellular protein concentration. Proteins are primarily present in ICF, that is intracellular fluid, but also it is present in extracellular fluid. Where in which part of the extracellular fluid their proteins are present? No idea? Plasma proteins. Plasma proteins, they are present extracellularly and they can also be acting as a buffer. So both intracellular buffer system also and also extracellular buffer proteins can also be acting as as extracellular or intracellular. Even hemoglobin acts as a buffer. Hemoglobin buffer here, third is given. Primary buffer against the carbonic acid changes. So whenever carbonic acid changes occurs, hemoglobin will be used. It will become arrest the hydrogen ions and it will become HHB. Phosphate buffer is a very important buffer in urinary system. Very important urinary buffer. Also present in intracellular fluid. So what are the functions of these buffers? Buffers are not they are not removing them out. No, they are just arresting them. Hydrogen ions will combine with HCO3 to become HCO3. So there is no free hydrogen ions. So this free hydrogen ions is gone. H2CO3 will be forming. Okay, this is their function. This is how the body buffer system work. They are attaching the hydrogen ions or grabbing the hydrogen ions so that it will not make any change in the body system. Similarly here, phosphate buffers and ammonia is also acting as a buffer. Ammonia will combine with hydrogen ions to become ammonium. 4. When it becomes 4, it is called as ammonium. This is ammonia. Proteins are also present and they will be combining with hydrogen ions in the intracellular as well as extracellular fluid. Okay, that's why I was telling you in the beginning that normal hydrogen ion concentration in the body is very, very low. Here it is written in terms of millimole, but in millimoles also you can see the value of hydrogen ions in the normal body hydrogen ion concentration is 0.1234, 0.00004 millimole per liter. Very little quantity. We cannot express them such a small quantity. That's why it is given in terms of pH, that is the negative logarithm of the hydrogen ion concentration. So amount of non-volatile acid produced per day is about 80 millimole, which is very, very high. Normal is 0.00004, and here the production is almost 80 millimoles, very high. And if you see in 1 liter, this is for the in per 42 liters. If we are considering as a 70 kilogram man, it contains the total amount of body water is about 42. Out of this 42, if we take 80 millimoles in 42 liters, that means 1.2 millimoles or approximately 2 millimoles per liter. So this is very huge quantity is forming every day. Huge quantity of the hydrogen ions are produced, but normally it has to be how much? 0.00004 millimoles. So the body has to have a very strong system to maintain this value against the very high value of formation. Almost 72,500 times more than the normal concentration. So we have to regulate these many times. Okay, 47.5 47,500 times, which is higher. So we have to regulate it. Second line of defense, as we have seen, the first line is buffer. Second line of the regulation of pH is the respiratory system. It is acting at a moderate speed and it helps to regulate by removing CO2, carbon dioxide from the body, and indirectly it will decrease the hydrogen ion concentration. So two things are there. There is a condition called as acidosis and there is another condition called as alkalosis. That means pH is becoming less than normal or pH is becoming more than normal. In both conditions, what is the reaction of respiratory system? We will see it here. During acidosis, if the pH is 7.1 or less, ventilation, how it will become? It will become more. The person will have respiratory rate more than the normal. Around 20 is the normal. So if in this condition, it may become 30, 35, 40 because of body will try to remove excessive carbon dioxide so that hydrogen ion concentration will come down. Similarly, So because of that, it will remove more CO2. You can follow these points here. What will happen to the bicarbonate production? Bicarbonate production will become less in acidosis, and rate of hydrogen generation from the CO2 will be becoming less because it is causing removal of CO2. Opposite to that, what happens during alkalosis when there is a decreased hydrogen ion concentration or decreased pH? Ventilation will become less so that CO2 will remain inside. So CO2 removal will be less and production of bicarbonate will become more. Formation of bicarbonate will become, or carbonic acid will become more. And rate of hydrogen generation will become more. This is to compensate the alkalosis. What is the role of kidney? Kidney defense against the hydrogen ion concentration is it's like little bit slow. It starts in few hours and may be fully active in few days. So it takes some time to become very active to excrete a hydrogen ion or to conserve hydrogen ions. So control of pH by the body fluid is or by the renal system is mainly by hydrogen excretion, reabsorption of bicarbonate, or production of new bicarbonate. What it will do? It will either remove hydrogen ions from the body or excrete in the urine, or it may reabsorb more bicarbonate, HCO3 minus, more reabsorption, or it will produce extra bicarbonate, extra bicarbonate formation or formation, new formation of bicarbonate. And also third one is related to the ammonia excretion. Excretion of ammonia will secretion of ammonia will be more. Okay. So mainly you have to remember the kidney, what kidney is doing. It is excreting more hydrogen ions, reabsorbing complete bicarbonate ion, even producing more bicarbonate ions, and also secreting ammonium ion. So from where the hydrogen ions are secreted? If you remember in the diagram of nephron, this is the Bowman's capsule. This is the proximal convoluted tubule and loop of Henle, thin segment and descending limb and ascending limb and thick segment, and distal convoluted tubule and the collecting duct. If you remember in the proximal convoluted tubule, 67% or 65% of water and the sodium chloride, sodium is absorbed. So let us assume it here. When sodium is absorbed, you may be remembering there is a pump called as counter transport here. So sodium will be coming in, and with each sodium coming in, hydrogen is given out. So hydrogen will be in the filtrate and it will be excreted in the urine. This is how the hydrogen will be excreted. This is one way. And there is another hydrogen pump, which is called as the hydrogen ATPase pump. Hydrogen ATPase pump. And also, if you remember in the previous lecture, I told you alpha intercalated cells. Alpha intercalated cells, which is causing secretion of hydrogen and absorption of what? Potassium. Okay, coming here, the mechanism of bicarbonates reabsorption. As I told you, first way of dealing with hydrogen is kidney will try to excrete more hydrogen. Second way is to reabsorb bicarbonate. So this is the second step. How the bicarbonate is reabsorbed? It is freely filtered. This is the luminar side. So bicarbonates are freely filtered. So it has to come inside. How it is coming? You know that as I told you in the previous slide that there is a sodium hydrogen counter transport. anti-clockwise. They are going opposite in each direction. This is going in, sodium is absorbing and hydrogen is secreted. That's why it is called as counter transport. In counter transport, hydrogen is given out. The filtered bicarbonate will combine with the hydrogen to form H2CO3. H2CO3 will become, because of there is a luminal carbonic anhydrase. Ca, carbonic anhydrase enzymes are present here in the luminal border, which will be cutting just like a shark or just like a cutter. It will cut this into CO2 plus H2. CO2 and H2 can easily be taken in. Inside it, it will become H2CO3 and then it will dissociate into HCO3 and hydrogen ions. The HCO3 will go to the interstitium and then into the blood. This is how bicarbonates are reabsorbed. H2 SCO3. Bicarbonates are reabsorbed. And same thing will go on. This is in PCT. And I told you about alpha intercalated cells in the DCT or late distal convoluted tubule, where in the lumen there are bicarbonate filtered and there is a pump which is called as hydrogen ATPase pump. So simply hydrogen will go out with active transport because ATPs are utilized here. So hydrogen which is formed in the cell because of from the dissociation from the water, it will be free hydrogen ions. This will go out with the help of an active pump, which is called as hydrogen ATPase pump. Released here, it will be combining with the filtered bicarbonate to form the carbonic acid. This will dissociate into H2O and CO2 because of the luminal carbonic anhydrase. This CO2 and H2O will be coming inside, and again bicarbonates are generated, and it will be going into the interstitium followed by into the peritubular capillaries. So bicarbonates are reabsorbed again. And this is not the filtered, this is newly generated. This is new bicarbonates are absorbed here. Same thing is shown here. So under normal circumstances, PCT and alpha intercalated cells, they are causing reabsorption, the secretion of hydrogen ion and reabsorption of bicarbonate ion. So this type of activity will adjust the pH when it will be changing, whether it is becoming on the alkaline side or whether it is become acidic side. Based on that, the rate of hydrogen ion secretion will be increase or decrease. Let's say in acidosis. What will happen? In acidosis, this step will be more. Hydrogen secretion will become more. In alkalosis, this step will become slow, or there will be no hydrogen secretion. It will be stopped, or with minimum hydrogen secretion is there. And also in acidosis, reabsorption of bicarbonate will become more. In alkalosis, bicarbonate reabsorption will become less. Opposite effect will happen. So let us assume that if the pH is decreased, becoming acidosis, or hydrogen ion concentration is increased in the body or in the plasma, this will lead to increased hydrogen secretion, increased excretion in the urine, and the plasma's hydrogen ion concentration will become less. At the same time, what will happen when hydrogen ion secretion becomes more? Bicarbonate reabsorption will become more, excretion will become less, and plasma bicarbonate will be becoming higher. So both ways, the body will be trying to remove excess of hydrogen, and also which is an acid, and it is building or slightly increasing the base, that is the bicarbonate, so that the pH will come very close to the normal value, So this is the summary of what will happen during acidosis or alkalosis. Two, hydrogen ion secretion and bicarbonate ion absorption. Okay. During acidosis, when the blood hydrogen levels are high, or you can say pH is less than 7.4, what is happening? Hydrogen secretion by the tubular cells will increase, excretion rate of hydrogen will increase, and bicarbonate absorption, reabsorption, and formation of new bicarbonates will also increase. Okay. At the same time, excretion rate of bicarbonate will be almost zero, and the pH of the urine will be acidic. If you collect the urine in a container, and if you check the pH here, you will find it will be acidic. What is the normal, or up to what level the pH can go? The pH of urine can be can reach up to 4.5 or 4.6 maximum. It can decrease, the pH can decrease, or it becomes very acidic till 4.6. It will not go 3 or 4. Why? What could be the reason why the urine pH did not go below 4.6? Any idea? Any guess? 4.6 or 4.5 means very acidic, extremely acidic. If this acidic urine is passing through the tubule or through the ureters, all these cells will be destroyed, burned. If you put acid on a surface, what you will find? If you put acid on a paper, it will burn. Similarly, if acid pH is becoming very low, that means it is very acidic. The cells and the epithelium will get destroyed. So that's why the body will only the renal tubule can hold up to the acidity of about 4.6. So if it is going below this, what could be the protective mechanism? How the protection will occur? Protection will occur because of the renal buffer system. Renal buffers are there, which is neutralizing the hydrogen ions which is released, so that the pH should not go below 4.6. So maximum pH or the minimum pH of the urine is about 4.5 around. Okay. It can go alkaline till it becomes 8. So it ranges between 4.5 to 8 pH of the urine. Compensatory changes in the plasma will be alkalinization of the plasma. For alkalosis, suppose the pH is becoming more. pH value is more than 7.4, more than, let's say, 4.5, around 7.45. More than this, it is called as alkalosis. In alkalosis, what is the main problem? Is not the hydrogen ions, it is the hydroxyl ions. So that's why there will be decreased secretion of hydrogen, decreased excretion of hydrogen, and bicarbonate reabsorption will also be decreased because this is already an alkaline. So why should we reabsorb more bicarbonate from the renal tubule? So renal reabsorption of bicarbonate will be decreased, and excretion of bicarbonate will be more during alkalosis. And the pH of urine will be alkaline, maximum up to 8. So acidification of the body fluids will happen, or plasma will happen. Okay, here it is said minimal urine pH is around 4.5. In order to excrete more hydrogen ions or to decrease below this, it should be buffered. It will not go alone. If suppose this is a renal tubule and the pH is less than 4.5, then the cells will get destroyed because of this free hydrogen ions. So it must be arrested, or it must be tied with some alkaline solution or buffers, so that the pH should not go below 4.5. So what are these buffers? Buffers are phosphate and ammonia. So when hydrogen is excreted, it is not excreted as free hydrogen. It will be combined with either ammonia or biphosphate, so that the pH will be slightly reduced, not going below 4.5. Otherwise, there will be burning or destruction of the epithelial cells. So this diagram shows you how the buffers in the tubular lumen helping to reduce the or to maintain the pH of the urine. Urine pH is maintained because of the urinary buffer system. Phosphate buffer, they will combine the free hydrogen ions with the sodium phosphate so that it should not be free. And also generate, it will make the new bicarbonate secreted at the same time. Similarly, ammonia is also helping to combine with the free hydrogen ions, and that's why the pH of the renal tubule or urine will not be going below 4.5 or above 8. These are the functions of urinary buffer system. Same thing is shown here. New bicarbonates are forming. Okay. Now, if the kidneys are functioning, or if the person is having some problem related to the hydrogen ion concentration, four possible things can happen. Either it could be, first of all, two possible things can happen. Either the pH will be very less, that is called as acidosis, or it could be very high, it is called as alkalosis. Okay. Any change in the pH could lead to either alkalosis or acidosis. In acidosis, it could happen because of problem in the respiratory system. Respiratory system, when the person is not able to remove the CO2, not able to remove the CO2. This is leading to acidosis. Or the problem can be because of the more production of the acids, like metabolic acidosis. Metabolic acidosis. So acidosis could be because of the problem related to respiratory system or problem related to the metabolic system. Similarly, alkalosis can happen because of problem related to the respiratory or problem related to the metabolism. That means in respiratory, the CO2 will be inside the body. CO2 will not be going out. Also, metabolic, more lactic acids are formed. Or in the diabetic ketoacidosis or ketoacidosis will be formed, it is metabolic. In respiratory alkalosis, there will be loss of or there will be loss of more CO2. CO2 will be becoming less, or maybe bicarbonate will become more. HCO3 will become more in the body. Okay. How the system is functioning, how the pH is maintaining. Let's say the pH is 7.4, normal pH. At this time, the balance system, when I open the slide, there is a balance system was shown. Here is the balance, okay? Tawazun. This will remain in a straight line or both are in same line when the body contain 1 part of CO2 and 20 parts of bicarbonate. If you count them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 by 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 by 4 is 20. 20 parts of bicarbonate. At this level, if you calculate, because I'm not going to go in detail about the calculation, but here I'm showing you why it is 1 is equal to 20. Why 1 is equal to 1 CO2 is equal to 20 bicarbonate. Why? Because if you put them in the formula for calculation of pH is log of negative ions, that is bicarbonate and carbon dioxide. So it will come as 6.1 plus 1.3 is equal to 7.4. So at 7.4, 1 CO2 is equal to 20 bicarbonates, right? This is, you just remember this thing, that 1 CO2 and is equal to, or it is balancing with 20 bicarbonates, then the body pH will be 7.4. What is happening now in respiratory acidosis? What is happening in respiratory acidosis? Respiratory acidosis is occurring because of the retention of CO2 in the body. Our lungs are not functioning properly, or there is a disease related to the lungs. So carbon dioxide is not going out. It is coming, it is retaining inside. It is not going out. Like lung disease, respiratory center depression, or any disorder related to the respiratory muscles or breath holding. In that case, CO2 will be inside the lung. Okay, it is not going out. Okay, now we'll see the balance here. So instead of 1, now the CO2 becomes 2 because it is retained, right? And same amount of bicarbonates are there, 20. So where the balance will go? Balance will go towards the CO2 and the pH will decrease. pH will become 7.1. This is all calculated by the formula. You don't have to worry about the formula, but remember, previously normally it is 1 CO2 molecule with 20 bicarbonates molecule is at the 7.4. If CO2 becomes more, the balance will be on this side. This balance will be on like this. It will become like this. Okay. It should have been like here in the normal baseline. Okay, so how the body will compensate? If respiratory system is at fault, which other system will function to balance it? The buffer system and the kidney. Buffer system and kidney will help to come back to the normal. CO2 we cannot remove as the respiratory system is not working. So what we have to do? We have to add bicarbonate so that the balance should become normal or in the baseline. How? It is already the excess here. So we have to add some more here so that it will come back to the normal. So what is happening in respiratory acidosis? There will be increased CO2. There will be increased bicarbonate. This is after adding. It is compensation. During the condition, there will be increased CO2 concentration and the pH will be less. pH is less than 7.4. We call it as acidosis, and cause is due to excessive CO2. We call it as respiratory acidosis. Coming to the next scenario, respiratory alkalosis. Here, primary is excessive loss of CO2. Our respiratory system is so much fast or working extra that it is removing excessive CO2 from the lungs. Excess CO2 from the lungs, if it is lost, like in case of fever, anxiety, or aspirin poisoning, or maybe at high altitude when the person is breathing heavily and with more rate. So at that time, what is happening to the CO2 and bicarbonate? This is the problem. If you see, one was the normal, one CO2 was normal, it becomes half, it becomes 0.5. You can see it is white part. So this area, it will become, previously it was normal, now it becomes more compared to the half, okay? And the pH will become 7.7, more than normal. This is called as alkalosis, loss of CO2. How to compensate? How the body will try? Body will try to reduce this half of the bicarbonate. Remove half of the bicarbonate because here we cannot change. By removing the half of the bicarbonate, the system will again come back to the normal. This is called as compensatory mechanism to overcome this. So compensation will come by by chemical buffers, which will liberate more hydrogen, or kidney will excrete more bicarbonate. This is how the body will function. The third condition, acidosis, but the cause is metabolic acidosis, formation of more lactic acid, something like that. Includes type of acidosis other than caused by the CO2 and in the body fluids. Like in case of severe diarrhea, diabetes mellitus, which is leading to ketoacidosis. Ketoacidosis, from the previous block, endocrine. Even exercise will lead to lactic acid formation, lactic acidosis, or uric acid for uremic acidosis. So these are all metabolic causes which are adding hydrogen ions. Okay, not CO2. This is hydrogen ions. So that's why it is a metabolic acidosis. What is happening here? CO2 remains same, but the number of bicarbonates are reduced. Instead of 20, they will become now 10. That's why the pH is increased. It is not the CO2 which is becoming less or more. It is because of the loss of bicarbonates. Loss of bicarbonates. How the body will compensate? Body will compensate by reducing the rate of removal of CO2 or by increasing the rate of removal of CO2. CO2 will be lost from the body and it will be slightly. And also there is a loss of bicarbonate. Or you can say not loss, sorry, gain of bicarbonates. Some of the bicarbonates, third row is now gained. So buffer system as well as the lungs as well as the kidney will function to excrete more hydrogen ions. This is the way in which the compensation will occur. The last one is the metabolic alkalosis, where there is a plasma hydrogen ions are decreased and due to relative deficiency of the non-carbonic acids, like in case of vomiting, where hydrogen is lost from the body. HCl present in the stomach is lost because of the excessive vomiting or maybe by ingestion of or taking the alkaline drugs. So alkalinity is increased, either loss of hydrogen or gain of bicarbonate. So here it is shown CO2 is normal part, but the bicarbonates becomes more, double, and the pH is becoming alkaline 7.7. How the body will compensate? Body will compensate by adding some carbon dioxide as well as by removing the bicarbonate. Here there are 4 bicarbonate, 20 bicarbonates were there. Now here it is only 5. So it will 20 plus 5 is 25. So chemical buffers will be acting, respiratory system will be acting, and kidneys are acting to overcome the metabolic alkalosis. Okay, this is the general explanation of acidosis and alkalosis. This is diagram is extremely important. Very, very important. Very, very important. Very, 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 very important to understand any type of acid-base disorder and what will be the compensation. First thing, where do you detect acidosis or alkalosis? We detect acidosis or alkalosis in a blood sample. Arterial blood gas analysis. If you take the arterial blood gas and you measure the pH, if the pH is less than 7.4, what is the diagnosis? Acidosis. If it is less than 7.4, it is acidosis. If it is more than 7.4, it is alkalosis. So take the arterial blood sample and find out the pH. If the pH is less than 7.4, acidosis. So first step is see the pH of the sample, whether it is less than 7.4 or more than 7.4. Based on that, you decide. If it is less than 7.4, we call it as acidosis. If it is more than 7.4, we call it as alkalosis. Now we don't know what is the cause of acidosis or alkalosis, whether it is metabolic or respiratory. What next we have to see? After pH, next we have to see is the bicarbonate concentration and PCO2, oxygen the carbon dioxide concentration. Two values we have to see. If PCO2 is more than 40, it is the cause is respiratory. CO2 is retained in the body. If bicarbonate is less than 24, the cause is metabolic. So C for bicarbonate and PCO2. If PCO2 is normal, maybe the cause is metabolic. If PCO2 is increased, the cause is respiratory. Okay. Similarly, in alkalosis also, we have to see the PCO2 concentration and bicarbonate concentration, HCO3. If HCO3 increases, it is metabolic. If PCO2 decreases, it is respiratory cause, respiratory alkalosis cause. If suppose we diagnose that it is a metabolic acidosis, which system will overcome this? If it is metabolic, respiratory system will overcome it. If it is respiratory acidosis, which system can overcome it? The renal system, because the respiratory system will not work here. So other system, that is renal, will be overcoming this. Similarly, if it is alkalosis, metabolic, then respiratory system will work. If it is respiratory alkalosis, renal system will work. How we know that which system has worked? So we have to see the again PCO2. If it is less than 0.74 and it is acidosis, that means respiratory compensation is done. If it is respiratory acidosis, then renal system will function by knowing the bicarbonate is increased. Bicarbonate concentration will be more reabsorbed. Similarly, here also in alkalosis, if it is metabolic alkalosis, respiratory system will function by increasing the PCO2 concentration. In respiratory alkalosis, renal system will be overcoming or compensating for this change, and this is by decreasing the bicarbonate ion concentration in the body. Agreed? So this diagram is very, very important. So anything, if you receive a report of a patient which is having an acid-base disorder, first thing is look for the pH. pH is less, acidosis. pH is more, alkalosis, more than 7.4 or less than 7.4. After that, we have decided it is acidosis or alkalosis. To know whether it is respiratory or metabolic, for that you have to see the, for metabolic you have to see bicarbonate concentration, and for respiratory diagnosis you have to see the PCO2 concentration. Okay, then other than this, you will see the same PCO2 and HCO3 for compensation. Okay, so in total, this is the summary. If it is respiratory acidosis, pH will be less than 7.4. CO2 will be increased because it is the cause is respiratory, so CO2 will change, and bicarbonate may remain normal. If it is respiratory acidosis, compensated, yani it is recovered, pH may be coming back to the normal, but CO2 is increased and bicarbonate will also be increased. Okay, like that you can go through all these conditions. And first is this diagram. This diagram is you go by this step. Step number one, in the sample, see the pH. Decide whether acidosis or alkalosis. Then see the bicarbonate and PCO2 concentration. And based on that, if there is both are decreased or increased, compare with the other PCO2 and SCO3, the third step. Like this, you can easily diagnose whether it is a which type of acid-base disorder. Thank you very much. Any question?
Thank you, doctor.
Everything is clear. Thank you, doctor.
Yes, inshallah. If you find difficulty, please let me know. Send me message on my WhatsApp or email. And if you find any difficulty, please don't hesitate to come. Thank you very much.
Inshallah. Thank you.